Today we are making this quick, easy, and adorable origami mobile, so stay tuned. Welcome back to my channel. Today is not only the reveal of the craft project that's in the current treasure box subscription, but it's also a tutorial. We are going to make this adorable origami mobile with things that fly because the theme for this treasure box is Flight of Fantasy. The only way to get this craft kit is in your treasure box subscription box. So these boxes go out every 2 months and there is always a mini craft kit. There's also gifts and tea and treats and stationery. So if you are not subscribed, you can do that at the link in the description below. In your kit in the treasure box, you will get a gold hoop, a little bobbin of thread, and lots of colored origami paper for you to practice with and to make your project. So I have a Pinterest board that will be linked in the instructions in the kit, and most of them are simple because I thought I'd be good at origami. I am not. I thought I'm a perfectionist, so I'll get the folds right. I love paper and I have a very logical mind, so I thought that all those things would work in my favor, but no, I struggled a little bit. So I kept the patterns fairly simple, the ones that I've chosen, but if you are good at this, there's all kinds of patterns out there on the internet, so have at it. Find something that you love and fold to your heart's content. So that was a struggle. I am not the best at folding. I've made quite a few mistakes, but I do have quite a few little animals here that fly, and a jet because it flies, right? This is a variation on your paper airplane, right? That's what I did that for. So I've got a couple birds. I have a crane, a hummingbird. Oh, this little guy, a dove. I have those. I have a bat because I love bats. That jet. This really cool dragon. This actually was fairly simple. It's basically the crane pattern, and then you bend the head and the tail differently and then kind of funky up the wings a bit. So it's basically the same start. So that wasn't too bad. This threw me for a loop, this little butterfly, but that ended up okay. And then I also have this little dragonfly too. So now what we're going to do is add them to the hoop. Now there's two ways you can do that, and I think I may even do a mixture of the two, and that is to either with a needle poke a hole through part of your whatever, your animal, your plane. So we're going to poke a hole somewhere and then either tie a hole in the back, but what I'm going to do is to use a little bit of my glue gun. So you could either use your glue gun and glue it on. But see this, for example, I don't know where to glue that. So I'm going to use my needle, put my thread through to the other side, and then glue it on the other side. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that. Now, depending on how long you want these to hang, you can cut your thread. I would go longer. You can always cut it later, but I would go longer than what you think you're going to need. And then you can decide later when we tie them onto the hoop how long you want to hang them. The best is to have them at different heights, but we'll get to that in a minute. Now this one, for example, I can stick the string down inside and glue it there without having to do the needle. So if I can do it without using the needle, I'm going to do that. So let's do that now. If you are enjoying this video so far, please give it a big thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. Next week, I will be back with a full reveal of everything that's in the treasure box. So there's this mini craft kit, as well as gifts, tea, treats, stationery, and self-care items, all for you to take some time for yourself. If you don't want to be surprised when your box shows up on your doorstep, then make sure you come back next week. Okay, let's get back into it. You can also put, if you want to say hang two from the same string, so this for example, I would continue the string down, use my needle and put the same string, the same thread through the next one, and then the one would hang underneath the other one. Then you can just start tying on the strings to your hoop, making sure that they don't get tangled with each other. And they don't have to be spaced out just yet. They can move along the hoop. Now is the time for you to decide how long you want them. So if you want them to hang quite far from the top of your hoop, then you can make the strings a little bit, keep your strings as long as possible, or you can keep them shorter if you want it to be a shorter mobile. The best way to judge how long you want your strings is to actually hang this up. Just prop it up somewhere where you're working and let it hang down so that you can gauge how long these are going to be. I'm just going to prop this up over here out of the way, tie the rest of them on, and then I'll be back. I ended up putting it on my tripod. Now I appreciate that not everyone has a big tripod like this, so then I went out and I found a lampshade and transferred it to that because everyone has a lampshade. It helped keep everything from getting tangled as well as let me see how long everything was going to be. So then once I was finished tying everything on, I trimmed all the extra strings hanging off, and then I moved the strings around so they were equidistant from each other. So I have 8 different things on mine, so I put them 1 and 5 opposite, 2 and 6 opposite, 3 and 7 opposite, and 4 and 8 opposite, so that they would be equidistant. Then I added just a tiny little bit of hot glue just so they wouldn't move around. Lastly, I added 1 string to 2 sides, opposite sides of the hoop, and this is what I'm going to hang it with. So it's quite a long piece. I've got them on opposite sides of the hoop, and I again added a little bit of hot glue to keep them steady. I decided to hang mine in my window of my studio here, and I really like how it turned out. The colors are my happy colors, so it really looks good in here. It matches everything, and I really like how it turned out. You will get full instructions in your kit when it comes on your doorstep, so don't worry, there's lots of patterns, simple ones that you can follow without any problems. It really didn't take much time. The folding, the mistakes I was making, that's what took the longest, but once I got it on the hoop, it was easy and quick, and it was hung in my window before I knew it. If you are not already subscribed to the Treasure Box, make sure you do that now. There's a link in the description below, and you will receive a curated box on your doorstep every 2 months with gifts, stationery, a mini craft kit just like this, tea and a treat, all to help you take more time for yourself. The cart closes on the 15th, and if you're like me and leave it to the last minute, you might forget. So go and subscribe right now. The link is in the description. You can also subscribe to my YouTube channel. You can do that here by clicking on my little face. Here are 2 more videos that I think you'll like. If you made it this far, leave me a bird or anything that flies. Leave me a bird emoji in the comments below. Have a fantastic day and happy planning.